Here I'm going to outline how to complete the Excel part of the assignment. From Moodle, you'll be able to download the test data set file, and this is also the file that you'll use to submit your final result. And this is going to be a DCF model which you have designed yourself. Now, to test something as complex as a DCF model, I need to put in some data that I know the answers for. And so what I have here is a model, the Excel file that will give you your own data set. So here I've just put in a student number. I don't think it'll be yours. That generates a set of data unique to you. We're going to use that in the first instance of the DCF model that you've built for the assignment. Okay, that is on the tab Test Data Set. So that generates the data. Now, that's not your case study, that's not the real world. It's probably crazy numbers compared to where you're living for whatever reason. That doesn't matter. It's simply numbers that we can put into the DCF model, and then we can compare it to what it should be from a model we know to be precise. Okay, once you have this data generated, you then move to the next tab, the DCF Model Test Data Set tab, and you'll see here it is a blank sheet and it asks for you to put in your assignment model. That's the DCF. Now, it's not your class model, definitely not your class model. You simply write your model, paste it into this sheet, and then enter the test data set. Let's do that, or at least indicate what it looks like. I will put in an example of a DCF model. This already has the data loaded into it, so I'll take this out. And what I need to do is put in the unit cost and so on. I'm going to do that for the test data set. So I'm going to go back to where the data set is generated. I will copy in that number and I can come through with all of these other numbers. And you can complete that in your own time. Now, the important thing about this is that you use, what have I done there? I do not know what is happening there. There you go. Okay, and so on. So you put your data in, and then you submit that. You only use the data from the data set, which is either available directly or indirectly. You might have to do some calculations to knock it into the shape for your model. If you've got a weekly value, you've got to turn it into annual values and so on. But this is the only data. Don't assume any data, don't make up any data, don't use data that you saw in the window of the local real estate agent. This is purely a data set generated only for the purpose of testing the precision of the model that you have built. The model that you've built, it's got to be quite unique to you, so I don't want anything looking like the models that we've built in class, because I want you to learn how to develop these things precisely and, if you like, custom made for particular projects you might find, because you will have to tweak these things for particular projects from time to time. Okay, so that enables me then, once I go through and see these numbers, I'm able to grade it quite efficiently, so that's kind of nice. That way you and I can be both sure of the precision or what you need to tidy up in order to have a really nice precise model to take off and use in your professional lives and maybe in your personal investment analyses. Okay, so you do that model. As well as that, Then you take this model and you put it in the case study DCF tab, plug it in again, and here what we're going to do is put in your own values. Okay, and that will be again the numbers. Now here, this is DCF case study. You can call it whatever you like, number 3 Smith Street, whatever. Okay, and you put in your own variables, whatever they are, da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da, you fill in all those numbers, and you get your model to pump out your results, and you submit that. And so what I see as the submitted file, okay, because you'll then go and save this as Garrick's assignment, and you'll save it wherever you're going to save it. Okay, I'm not going to save it here because I'll just mess up my computer. You'll basically save that and then submit it. What I see, and what I'll be looking at, first of all, I'll be looking at your DCF with test data. And I'll be able to check that and let you know how precise it is and what needs to be done to get it to be absolutely first class. And then I'll move over and look at your case study, and your case study will then tell me all of the numbers that you've found from looking at your local investment property that you've selected, and this will be the one that you'll do the analysis of variation in the variables to. So this one might also have tables and graphs and all the rest of it to really go to town on finding out what's going to happen with the values changing in what you've adopted there. I don't have to see those tables and graphs on this page. I certainly won't be looking at them very closely, because you will then copy those and paste them into your word processing document, which is the report that you're going to write in, that we marked on the basis of your case study that you've studied. So there you have it. 3 tabs that you're primarily interested. This last one, by the way, it is really there. I want you to copy and paste this, what's inside the blue area here, into the end of your Word document, your word processing document, because I'm going to use that to write comments and give you your grade. So please don't forget to put that down at the very end of your word processing document. These tables you'll find make sense when you read the assignment details. They just outline what grade letters you need in the different assessment criteria in order to get the different grades. So for instance, there are 2 ways to get a pass. Either you can get C's down to item 6, or you can, which is a comfortable level of competency in each of these different categories, or you can get D's, in other words, just scrape through bare bones in that longer list. So you'll notice that D's, in other words, you're just scraping through in all of these things, including a couple of these extension activities, will get you a pass, but also we're expecting a C in at least the core stuff in order to get your pass. And the same thing for a credit. You'll see the grade letters have been sort of kicked up a little, and then to get distinctions and high distinctions. So it gives you an idea of what to aim for. Okay, always put the marking panel in, please. I'll be looking at this for mathematical precision, and I'll be maybe just casting my eye over briefly this. I won't be actually testing this for mathematical precision, because it simply requires a lot more time and reverse engineering, whereas this is the one which is really, really important for me to be able to see clearly. Okay.